another episode of the Wild Football Show. Again, most of the time I don't put this on YouTube, but this time I will be probably putting it on YouTube. So, for all the people that will watch this on YouTube, this will probably just be an audio recording with a picture behind it or something like that for YouTube. But as far as podcasts, this will be a regular Wild Football Show podcast. But for once, I'm probably, because since I have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to talk about, I also want to put this on YouTube because it's such an important week, such an important day of the NFL overall. So let's get to it. The first thing I wanted to get to was kind of not really breaking news, but kind of just the way that Nick Mullens got cut from the Eagles. And this came up to me. This guy did not look good. I mean, Nick Mullens looked so bad for the Eagles. Looked sucky. Just didn't really look that great. But the thing that really stood out to me the most is through 16 starts, he almost broke a record with the 49ers. Through 16 NFL starts, he almost broke a record for the most passing yards out of any QB. I think he was along with Aaron Rodgers and I think Andrew Luck. For the first 16 starts, most passing yards out of a QB. It was some crazy stat. But it brought me to thinking, how can a guy that did so bad for the Eagles do so good for the 49ers? And my thing brings me back to Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan might have and this is really just a testament to Kyle, because Kyle might have all his flaws. I mean, maybe he's not handling the Trey Lance situation right, but the thing that Kyle Shanahan does well is he does give his quarterback the best scheme and the best chance to win, and he doesn't focus on their weaknesses. As far as Nick Mullens, he had a lot of weaknesses. He had a lot of things where, it was basically, he had a lot of different, he had a lot of weaknesses, wasn't mobile, didn't have a good arm. But Kyle Shanahan, as far as play calling goes, really called up the perfect plays to make Nick Mullens succeed. So that's why, I mean, I'm not saying he's the best coach in the NFL, but I think Kyle Shanahan, that was just a testament to me, because Kyle Shanahan really is good at doing stuff like that, like basically being like, hey, Nick, like, we need you to call up this and this and this play, and it's a genius play, roll out, and throw 5 yards downfield, and the receiver will pick up another 15. I mean, it's genius. And so, it's just really amazing how Kyle Shanahan now made Nick Mullens look so good, even though he's really not that good. I mean, the Eagles, that's eventually why they picked him up. The Eagles basically, the Eagles didn't like him at the end, but they thought he was good at the beginning, so that's why they picked him up. And I feel bad for Nick because I don't think, this could be the end of his career, but I do think that Kyle Shanahan really worked his magic with guys like Nick Mullens, because guys like Nick Mullens, don't have the physical abilities, but Kyle Shanahan said, no, I got you. We can work through this together, you know what I'm saying? So that was more of just a testament to me, because the Eagles cutting Nick Mullens, him not doing that good, I'm like, man, this guy almost broke a record, And so I think this guy really impressed. Kyle Shanahan really made him look good. And if he can make Nick Mullens look good, he can make Trey Lance look good. Nick Mullens is, he will forever live in Niners hearts. He will forever live in 49ers history and hearts. But I always love to see a good story like that. I would have really much rather preferred Nick Mullens over Nate Sudfeld right now. But let's get to the other cuttings, because there was some other cuttings around the league and just other things. Before I get to that, here was another point that stood out to me as far as Kyle Shanahan, the whole thing. This is one guy that they definitely missed at. I think the 49ers definitely didn't play it too well. It's Cj Beathard. this guy went to Jacksonville, and the thing that stands out, people will say, what is important about this topic? Well, a few days ago, I think it's almost on Saturday, Gardner Minshew gets traded to the Eagles, and this is what this says to me. The Jaguars, who got Cj Beathard in free agency. Now again, backstory of Cj Beathard with the Niners. Cj Beathard used to be basically a frustrating quarterback to watch who wasn't really right on his reads. He was the third-round pick that the Niners kind of whiffed on. And Kyle Shanahan got frustrated with Cj Beathard. They let him run out the 4-year contract, the 49ers 4-year contract that they had given him when he was a rookie, and he basically left this year. So the Jaguars pick him up, and basically they trade Gardner Minshew, and now Cj Beathard is the number 2 quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence. What this says to me is they are happy with Cj Beathard being the second-string quarterback. On the 49ers a few years ago, no way. That would not have happened. Cj Beathard was, at best, a third-string quarterback, practice squad quarterback. But what does this say? I mean, Grant Cohn even said the other day, if you guys follow him, I don't know if you guys do, but Grant Cohn said the other day, where he said a few years ago, what if Cj Beathard breaks out by year 5? It would be funny if Cj Beathard, he said, breaks out year 5, which is a year after the 49ers would let him go, because he had a 4-year contract with the Niners. What if he breaks out with any other team? What if Kyle Shanahan wasn't the one for Cj Beathard? And what if he breaks out somewhere else? And turns out he did. Turns out the Jaguars are very comfortable with them signing, with them having CJ as the second-string quarterback. So that was something that definitely stood out to me so much. And I just can't. I can't wait to see this whole thing playing out. The next part of the podcast that I want to dedicate to is Cam Newton and the Patriots. That was a second thing that definitely stood out to me. They cut Cam Newton, which was very interesting to me because Cam Newton, I think, won the QB job. I think he did very well. But first I want to get to Bill Belichick on this move. Obviously, Patriots cut Cam Newton, make Mac Jones the number 1 guy, the starter. And he's a rookie, so some people were like, he doesn't have enough time, he needs to develop. But this is basically what I take out of this, and let's go to Bill Belichick first. I think that Bill came to a point where he said, it's kind of where the point that the 49ers need to come to as well. But I think the 49ers are playing it safe, and they don't want to get their ass fired. Bill Belichick doesn't have anything on the line. He's never getting fired again. There's no way. But as far as Bill Belichick goes, I think he basically came to a crossroad and said, this is high stakes. Like, if I cut Cam Newton and Mac Jones sucks, everyone will be calling me a stupid person for doing that, cutting Cam Newton. Same with Kyle Shanahan. If I cut Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance sucks, then everyone will call me, an idiot. But the thing that really stood out to me is he said, I'll take that chance. Like, if Mac Jones does well, then everyone will praise me, and basically it'll all go well. So it was high stakes for Bill Belichick. It really was high stakes for him. And I'm really excited to see the new look Patriots, to be honest. But as far as Mac Jones go, I think this was a high move for the Patriots. But to be honest, I'm not too mad. I think this was actually a good move. But Cam Newton, he'll find somewhere else to be a backup. I don't know what the Patriots were really thinking here, but it was just really interesting that they reached the point. I think the 49ers need to reach the point too, where they basically say, hey, we need to take this risk. And I think the 49ers aren't ready to do that. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what I got to say on the Patriots thing. I think this was very interesting. Again, 3 storylines. Again, back to the beginning. Kyle Shanahan, it really all ties back to him. We saw him hit once with Nick Mullens. We saw him make him look good and almost make him break records, even though Nick Mullens really at best is a third-string quarterback. And then we also see him whiff on Cj Beathard. And then we see him taking risks with Trey Lance and everything else. So that's what I got to say on that. But let's get to some of the, obviously, we want to get to some of the cuts here. But first, we will get to something else. Here we go. If you are enjoying listening to this podcast right now, to the Camper Report right now, and you have been wondering how to start your own podcast, have I got news for you. You see, podcasting today is one of the simplest ways to connect to your audience, but it can be tricky finding the right format and host that suits you. That, my friends, is where Buzzsprout is helpful. Buzzsprout is by far the most simple and productive podcast host on the planet. For starters, you will get a great-looking podcast website, audio players that you can drop into other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, tools to promote your episodes, and many more features that I have not listed. Their team members are friendly, and they have helped me with my every need. My favorite part about Buzzsprout is that it enables you to track your recorded episodes easily, which is why I chose them. This podcast host is so good, it has significantly assisted over 100,000 podcasters, including myself, to get their message out to the world. The Buzzsprout team is committed to aid every question or issue that you have. Buzzsprout gets you listed to every major platform, which is another feature that props up your show. It is so easy. All that is required is a quiet space and the gear that is already available to you. If you want to upgrade, Buzzsprout has tons of guides to help you find the right equipment at a suitable price. They post blogs and YouTube videos every week, which gives you guidance from experts. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know the Camper Report sent you, and it helps support our show. Buzzsprout, the most complete podcast host available. We are back. Welcome back, everyone. Obviously, I ended it on a note of the major cuts. Obviously, today was a cut down. Every team had to cut down their players, basically had to make sure that their roster was at 53 by a certain time today. So I wanted to break down some of the interesting stories that the Niners had today and kind of what they were dealing with. So first thing, Niners undrafted free agent Jonas Griffith stood out in preseason. They flipped him for a 6th-round pick next year. I believe they gave away a 7th-round pick next year, and then they got another 7th-round pick next year. It was really weird. But anyways, they just turned, this was the greatest move ever. They just turned a undrafted free agent, and they traded him to the Chiefs for picks. Whenever you get a 6th-round pick for an undrafted free agent who hasn't, Jonas Griffith, linebacker for the 49ers, who hasn't, whenever you get a guy who hasn't, whenever you trade a guy who hasn't played a game, but you can trade him for a 6th-round pick. I mean, this guy's undrafted, and you get a 6th-round pick out of him. Like, that is great. So that started off the day. Moving along, Tarvarius Moore was put on the PUP list. Tore, I think, his ACL. Jeff Wilson Jr. was put on the PUP list. Let's see. And then I think we cut Travis Benjamin. We cut Wayne. The one surprise that was kind of to me was that we cut Travis Benjamin. Wayne Goldman. We basically cut a guy who is an NFL starting running back. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Wayne Goldman backed up Saquon Barkley and did very well. And when Saquon Barkley was injured, he was the number 1 back. So I didn't get it. I mean, we kept a very good other running back in JaMychal Hasty, but the other guy that we could have cut was Elijah Mitchell, our 6th-round pick. I mean, I didn't get this move. I think we should have kept Wayne Gallman. He's probably going to most likely get picked up by somebody like the Seahawks or the Rams, which was really... I mean, yeah, the Rams are going to need them because the Rams obviously, and then the Ravens possibly could need him because they both have injury issues. So I wasn't really, I was surprised by that for sure. Was it a surprise? Maybe not as much for me. And then again, now this was kind of obvious, Jalen Hurd. He was our third round pick who, again, isn't very... He was our third round pick who has been injured for the last 2 years, Jalen Hurd, receiver that we drafted out of Baylor a few years ago. And the reason why we didn't cut him, he didn't show really anything, I feel like. He showed a few things, like he really played last Sunday and that's it. He maybe caught 4 passes, dropped 2. I mean, he really wasn't that impressive, but since he was a third round pick, of course we had to keep him. Cut Travis Benjamin, and then we cut... The other surprise to me was that we cut HaHa Clinton-Dix. I mean, we have a very deep safety room, but the thing is again, we have Jaquiski Tartt, Jimmy Ward as our starters at safeties, weak side and strong. And then we have, the rookie 5th or 6th round pick, Hufanga. He has showed out in preseason. Kind of has the body mold as a Palomalu, but isn't really he's not that great. And then we kept, I believe we kept Tavon Wilson, who played a starting role when Jaquiski Tartt was out. So we kept a few different guys. But I feel like HaHa Clinton-Dix really should have been kept on this team. That was the other surprise to me where I was like, really? And then Jared Maiden. I mean, we had a really deep safety room, to be honest. Jared Maiden also got cut. He had a great camp. So there's just guys that, always have a great camp and that's just never really show out. Like, never really they get cut because it's such a deep room. The other deep room that we had, the Niners had, and I mean many teams are like this, but we have like 4 deep rooms. A receiver, there was a lot of cuts like Travis Benjamin and guys like that, Richie James obviously, guys like that it was a really deep room. But again, there was, for example, defensive line for the Niners. They, I think, kept 11 defensive linemen. And they had like a 13 deep defensive line group. It was crazy. They have so many good ones. I mean, you just go down that roster and it is stacked. But again, every team is like that. It's just encouraging to see. Again, here is the one, I don't want to keep ranting about the Niners. So here is a guy that got cut. And I think any team could use him who is low on corner, including the Niners. Desmond Trufant. I don't exactly remember who he got cut by, but I heard he got cut. Desmond Trufant got cut. And if you're the Niners or any team that needs a corner, you're looking at a corner depth. You're looking at this guy and saying, yeah, he's a vet, but he used to be really good. We need a backup corner. Why not try him out? I think that would be great. So I don't want to rant about the Niners anymore. This isn't supposed to be a Niners show. But the thing is Desmond Trufant could be another really, really great player that comes through. Trent Sherfield, number 3 receiver. I mean, he had a great camp. The other one that I was kind of surprised about is why the heck did we keep Charlie Warner as our number 3 tight end? He can be replaced. I mean, Tom Compton wasn't a good... Yeah, I mean, there was a few ifs. Like, this is... Okay, but this is how deep our D-line is. Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Samson Ebukam. D4, DJ Jones, Kevin Givens, Kentavious Street, Maurice Hurst, Zach Kerr, Arden Key. All of those guys are really good. I mean, you at D end you have Nick Bosa, you have Samson Ebukam, you have D Ford, I think you have Kentavious Street, Arden Key. So and then the D tackle position, I mean, there is probably 7 people, 6 or 7 people on this list where it's like, dang, like, it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep for sure. I liked it a lot. And then our running back, our another position that kind of stood out to me is linebacker. I mean, that group we're super deep into. But yeah, so that's what I got to say on the Niners, just kind of the cuts that happened today. Desmond Trufant was a surprising cut that happened to me where I was like, really? Like, this guy really should be on a roster. So, see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Just some Parallels podcast that I really wanted to do because it's like, there is so many things here where I'm just like, man, like this is amazing. So stay tuned, guys. I will be back sometime later this week or with somebody. Probably get on a guest later this week. I will see you guys later. As always, NFL is back. Peace.
Look at what I started. Look how far I came, dog. I ain't had no guidance. I just did my thing, dog. I just went my hardest, and I'ma go hard regardless.